Hello and welcome to UAE Achievers Talk Show Season 3. And we are here today at episode 5 with none other than our special guest, Mr. Mohamed Al Khatib. He's here, especially on my request, and he has an extensive experience as a business growth consultant. So let's find out more. Hello, Mr. Mohamed. How are you?
All good, thank you.
Thank you for joining in on my podcast today.
It's my pleasure. And I want to thank you also for inviting me here. I've seen lots of your episodes and the type of guests you bring here, the type of topics you talk about, and all I can say is hats off to you and to your work.
Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you. However, before we jump on to, details of what you do and all of that, I got to know in our earlier conversation that you were an engineer like me.
Definitely, yes. In my profession, I studied 5 years in university as a civil engineer, actually.
Okay, great. So how was that engineering experience?
Well, I can say I'm good at it, but it's not that I loved it. Just the life path took me there.
I think all of us engineers are like that.
Definitely. Every engineer I know is almost trying to do something or wants to do something. Because I think the work pressure on engineers nowadays is very big and the competition is also very huge when it comes to engineering.
Sure. And then moving on, I think you were doing business development, you were doing procurement in Dubai for very many years. And I've heard from somewhere about your mega big construction projects that you were part of. Tell us more.
Definitely, yes. Actually, for more than a decade, when I first came to Dubai, I worked for more than a decade in few of the largest construction and real estate companies in Dubai. That gave me the chance to work on mega projects. I was taking care of the procurement department and the business development function of those projects. That gave me the chance to actually, negotiate 100 million plus projects. The experience I've got from such corporates, from such work environment, from such mega projects were actually very huge. So I worked, I think, for almost more than a decade on that. Then I made the transition to become a business consultant.
Wow. And now, obviously, I'm very interested to understand how and why that transition happened. But before that, I just want to bring to everyone's limelight doing 10 plus billion value projects. Must have been a crazy learning curve, experience and whatnot, right?
Definitely. The thing is when we work on one project that is a mega scale, you think that you know everything now. Then you work on another mega project and you say, okay, there are different problems. These are different things to be worked on. Every project is not the same. So every project you work on is actually a new experience that we always learn from. So that was very helpful for me within this transition as well.
Wow. And for me, it is a little tough to digest at the same time that an engineer turns into procurement, into now the business growth consultant. So tell us more about the business growth consultant. How did that happen?
Well, yeah, definitely. Actually, even when I was a kid, I always had this entrepreneurial spirit in me.
Oh, wow.
But that transition actually did not come by chance. It was a bit traumatic, if I can say, because, when I was a kid, I did not see my father for 7 years. Not even once. Mm-hmm. That was difficult times, and those years were actually my teenaging years. So my father left me as a 10-year-old boy. He came back to see me as a 17-year-old man. Oh. That forced me to become a man very quickly because I'm the eldest son in the family. And many years later, I almost repeated the same thing. But what I did not know is that I did not see my father for 7 years because he had a failed business in Abu Dhabi. Mm. And when I graduated and started working, I almost repeated the same cycle by starting my own business. Mm-hmm. And it almost cost me my marriage. So I remember the time when it was July, and my wedding was on September. I had no visa in Dubai. I had 0 dirhams in the bank account, and I was still living in a shared apartment with a friend of mine, actually. I remember I parked the car just down the building talking to my wife, which was my fiancée at that time, on a video call. And I'm telling her, please postpone the wedding. I cannot do it. And she told me, Mohammed, I cannot do that because the venue was booked. My family are all waiting for the wedding to happen because at that time, Lebanon was in a turbulence time and everyone had air tickets booked. So they wanted to leave the country forever. It felt devastated, actually, at that moment. I felt like a failure. I was socially devastated. Rock bottom was an understatement. something happened, then it made things work out. I got some amount of money, and things happened. Alhamdulillah. However, I realized that I have experienced what does a failed business mean, not only as a business owner, but only as a family member. And that was a defining moment in my life, that I decided that not a single man or a single boy must go through what I or my father have gone through because of a failed business. And it was when I met my mentor, Mac Atram, and I explained to him, this is my situation. And then he taught me everything there is to be taught about business. And that was how I could make the transition from being into the corporate world to become a business consultant.
Wow. I want to just take a moment and, congratulate you, applaud you. I mean, you're such an inspiration to not just me, but to the entire community out there. I mean, you took your circumstances in hand and you fought it, and here you're sitting today as such a successful business growth consultant.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Some life actually puts us in some situations where we have a choice. We either to be beaten and just stay down, or have to get up and continue. I believe that big businesses thrive because they have a purpose. Big entrepreneurs become successful entrepreneurs because they have a purpose. And I found mine. That's what kept me going during the difficult times, actually.
Wow. But I want to just a little bit deep dive more, if you allow, Mohammed.
Sure.
What was that moment like? What were your thoughts, and how? Because, it's really tough. Practically speaking, it's very, very tough. It's the toughest thing at that point in time. So what was that moment? And because it's going to be super inspiring for all of us.
Well, yeah, definitely. If I can describe what I was feeling, imagine that someone's jumping from an airplane, flying an airplane, all right? Because when I started that business, actually I was thinking of myself that I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm going to be the best entrepreneur, the next Jeff Bezos. So I started the business working very hard, 12 hours maybe a day, filled with hope, filled with passion, all right? And when things did not work out, it was devastating, really. It just like, I raised myself up high, and then suddenly I just hit the ground.
Yeah.
Emotionally, it was difficult. Socially, I did not want to see anyone.
Yeah.
Financially, I was broke. I ended up in debt, actually. That moment was my lowest point of my life. It is not easy. But, this is something that I learned from, because I came to realize when I started working with my mentor, I started studying with him, I realized that I had $1 billion idea, not $1 million idea.
Wow.
And what made it fail was actually me, was not actually the market, not the riots that started in Lebanon, not the currency crash, nothing. It was me. But at that very moment, if you asked me, I was asking myself, was that the feeling my father felt when he had a failed business? I mean, because everyone starts a business filled with hope,
Absolutely.
He expects success, and he thinks that if not going to be a millionaire, at least he's going to be financially relaxed.
Yes.
But when things turn around and you hit the wall, things become different and very difficult to sustain.
Well, kudos to you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm so honored also in a way to know you and your journey in that sense. Super
Thank you.
inspiring to all of us. I know for a fact I reached out to you and I said I need help as a business coach in Expats Hub, where after 5 years down the line, I also feel sometimes, I'm sure like many other entrepreneurs, that, you're stuck, you don't know how to scale, you need some sort of support and all of that. But your success talks and lies in your numbers. While in our discussion, we said you helped people achieve 20% to 200% plus sales, growth. I mean, those numbers are static.
Thank you.
How
Yes.
does that happen, by the way?
Well, actually, every business is different. And if I want to be really honest with you, with some of the clients, it's only the mindset. They're just the mindset. The moment they changed their mindset, their actions changed, and the result of the business changed. For other clients, knowledge was a problem. But that's a question that when anyone knows that I'm a business consultant, business growth consultant, the first question they ask me is, how do I increase my sales? And I always say that it always you have to go back to the basics,
Yeah.
because business is all about integrity. It's just like a car. If the steering is not working, the car is not going to be working properly. And business is always the same. So if your marketing is not working, if your operations has a problem, finance, or the sales function itself, you're not going to be able to make sales. So always go back to the basics. And if I'm going to give a small advice about how to increase your sales, I would say know what is the problem your business is solving.
I think I need to reach out to you ASAP. I am already in talks with you, as you know, and I encourage all the other entrepreneurs also to get in touch with him. It's like a gold mine sitting with us right here. Talking also about, so what do I aspire to do one day, right? I aspire to become an investor, chill, have my business run autopilot and all of that, right? Can you help us in achieving that?
Definitely. Actually, that's the part of my work that I really enjoy the most. No, because as I told you, I explained, because of what happened between me and my father, I became very attached to my family. That's why I try to work from home as much as I can. And I believe, and this feeling actually grew bigger when I had my daughter. I started feeling that every business owner, every entrepreneur must have the right, or the privilege at least, to be able to spend time with his family whenever he wants, not as his business dictates on him. So every entrepreneur must be able to control their time. So that's the path that I took, and it actually, because it relates with me directly. So what I do is, as I told you before, maybe my specialty is helping business owners create a self-running business that have their business run on autopilot, without them being at the center of everything. And if you thought about it, if you could achieve that, you can be an investor. You can, enjoy your vacation in the Maldives while your business is running here in Dubai. You can travel the world without worrying about business, without worrying about your money as well.
Well, you are showing me dreams right now, but I'm sure it's going to turn into reality.
Definitely, of course, why not?
So yeah, I can completely understand that, because being a mother of 6-year-old, I don't know how do I give her the time, because I am just running two babies together, which is her and the business. And sometimes business is more demanding than the child. And but then the fact is you have to give time to your child. So it's crazy. And I'm sure many parents who are entrepreneurs are crying out there in the similar zone.
I totally agree with you, because that's, and what you are feeling, what other business owners are feeling, are actually the consequences of not structuring the business the right way from the beginning. Because what's happening is this. I've been there. That's why. What happens is this: when a business owner starts his own business, the first priority is finding the first client. When he finds his first client, the first priority changes, and it becomes over-delivering to that client in order for the client to give him more referrals,
Yes.
to give him recommendations, testimonial.
Yes.
So he started doing the work himself. When the work is done, the priority changes back to finding a new client. And the sequence goes on and on and on,
Yeah.
until the business owner creates a series of multiple projects, multiple clients, which all of them trust the business owner. Then he thinks of, okay, then I'm overloaded. Let me introduce someone to help me out.
Yeah.
When they hire the first hire, a new employee, they hire them to do just the repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
But the clients there actually want still to work with the business owner personally.
Yeah.
They don't want to work with his team. Why? Because they trust the owner, not the team. With that being said, that creates a pressure on the business owner that I need to be there in the business. The more the business grows this way, the more stuck the business owner is in the business. It becomes very difficult to be detached, because the business owners will either lose clients, or they will compromise the quality of the work. They will compromise the delivery and of the services or product, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's a loop that needs to be broken in a systemized way that allows the business owner to escape that grind, at the same time not lose clients, not lose control over operation, and not lose money as well. That's what I help my clients do.
Amazing. I think that's great. And I could also relate when you said the client wants you. And then we also kind of I think each one of us is equally responsible. I also feel in this journey, because as much as the client wants you, the owner also wants to be, doesn't know how to delegate time or is very insecure, because I know I'm going through that journey. So in spite of having 18 team members, it's every client needs Anul. That's sort of a
Definitely.
story, right?
Exactly,
So
because they trust and they don't trust your team. They don't know your team.
yeah. Great. I think we'll go non-stop in that. But then I'm sure there are many parameters involved, right? But what is the main final or the summary, if you could give us, of why big businesses survive more than the small businesses?
That's a very good question. If we come back to this, I would say it's many reasons actually, it's more than one. But one of the most important reasons that I found is that if you noticed, at any corporate style business, at any big business, the CEO or the chairman or the owner is always surrounded by people on his meeting table that he meets or she meets regularly every week, every month, every quarter, whatever it is. And each one of them is a specialist in some part of the business.
Okay.
Someone is specialist in marketing, someone specialist in sales, operations, human resources, whatever it is. And when they meet, every one of them gives the owner of the decision maker of the business, whoever it is, it might be the owner, it might be a chairman, it might be a CEO, all of them, they give him their view and their perspective of what's happening in the business, what are we currently facing, what will be the next step, what shall we change, how shall we move on. And based on that, the decision maker can make an informed decision based on all the perspectives that he got from the people sitting with him. And he could have that because they have the privilege, they have the money to pay for these people, right? Because these people get big chunk of money as a salary. Small businesses cannot do that. It's a very important factor. Small businesses are completely relying on the owner himself. So unless the business owner can get someone with him, like a consultant, like a coach, like even a partner who can complement the owner, they will always be stuck in this loop and always seeing the business from one perspective only.
Right.
That block the vision of the business owner from different things in the market. So because they can only see only what they see, not more than that.
Yeah. How amazing. Well, I'm going to be a little mean and selfish. While you are here, I have to think in benefit of myself and the community. So share us some tips and tricks, or tips, if I may say, how to increase sales. Let's address the elephant in the room. That's all what we want. How to increase the sales.
Yeah, of course. That's the question, a very common question I get asked all the time. Well, increasing sales, here's the thing. When someone comes to me and tell me how do I increase my sales, I suggest that they have a problem. That they have a problem of not enough sales or low sales. All right? And when I work with my clients to handle this problem and tackle it, we look at the root cause, because not enough sales or this problem can have many reasons. It can mean that you are lacking leads. It can mean that you are having the leads, but you're having low quality leads. It can mean that your pricing is not market fit. It can mean that your offer isn't market fit. It can mean that you are targeting the wrong clients and wrong audience. It can mean that your sales script and your sales skills, whether it's yours or your team members, actually is not the best that you can convert. So it really can go down to many root causes. So the first thing we go to is identify what is the root cause that is preventing the sales from growing, and we tackle that root cause. However, if I could give a generic advice, and unfortunately most of business owners I've I have worked with don't know this, you must be clear about what is the problem your business is solving. Right? Because once you understand the problem, now you can position yourself as an expert. And once you know what is the problem and you position yourself as an expert, you can understand your clients. Who has this problem? What do they feel because of this problem? And what do they aspire? What are the outcomes they're looking at if they have this problem solved? If you sat with any meeting or you conveyed these details in your marketing, that I can sell you this dream, I can sell you this outcome, there's a problem you're solving. When you are very good at articulating the problem that the client is having, you position yourself as a trusted person in front of the client.
Yeah.
And when you tell him, I know what you feel, that's a problem you're feeling, that you're having, I know what you feel, and I know what you want, this is what you want, then you are by default the expert person, the go-to person, the authority, and he will come and buy from you. You need to do that though in a systemized manner in your marketing, in your sales pitches, in your meetings, when you're having a conversation and having a business shower or anything. And all these messages must be consistent. Consistent every time with every person.
Wow. I think these are gold mine tips, guys. And I wish I could just hold him longer and get you more tips, but definitely we'll, plan more of these. I'll also go back to a very generic stuff, right? I'll talk about myself. So I was going through this journey of finding a coach for myself till I found you, of course. And then, there were life coaches, there were business coaches, there were business growth coaches, consultants. And everybody used to give me a lot of theory. I'll be honest, okay? A little brutal. Lots and lots of theories, right? What about the practical implementation? A lot of those never spoke about KPIs or, really measuring the growth of sales and stuff like that. What you do for your clients and how you think you're different in the market.
That's very good. First of all, let me just explain to the audience what's the difference between coaching, life coaches, business coaches, and consultants. Well, coaches usually, they work with you for your clarity. They help you achieve your goals, whatever they are, in life, in business, and anything. Business coaches, they do that specifically in business. And life coaches do that in your personal career, personal goals.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, I hate to say that, but many business coaches in the market are not really business coaches. All right? No disrespect to anyone. They may be the best at what they do. But to be a business coach, you must understand at least the basics of the business.
Sure.
All right? So that's the first thing. The second, we must differentiate between coaching and consultancy. Coaches in whatever field does not tell you what to do. So if you work with a business coach on your business, they will never tell you, I know you have to hire a new person, a new sales team. Never. They will help you get the clarity of what you must do in your business so you can take an informed decision. All right? They act just like the board of directors that every big business has. So they help you with this, finding the clarity, taking the right decision without them telling you, do this. That's coaching. Consultants, on the other hand, they tell you what to do, but once they tell you, they are out of the game. So it's like you tell me, I know, Mohamed, I have a sales problem. I tell you, yes, sure, of course. I do my audit, then I give you my report. So that's your problem, that's how you solve it. Here's my money, and I leave. It's up to you whether you implemented that or not. Coaches, they stick with you for a longer time, 6 months, 12 months. So the way that I work with my clients to achieve the results that you talked about is that I give them the consultancy part, but with the coaching support. So whatever solution I give to my clients, I stand behind it for a prolonged time, and I work with them until that goal is achieved. How do we do that? In the very first sessions, the very first when I sign up with a client, we put the metrics. We set the metrics. What do we want? Sales increase, business growth in terms of team, profit increase. What are we exactly looking at, and within how many months? So we put goals, we put KPIs, we put milestones, and we stick to that. We work on a weekly or bi-weekly basis until these goals are met.
Wow. And that explains how maybe doing this, consultancy along with coaching is kind of hand-holding them and making sure you're setting KPIs together and achieving together. And it's such a relief to all the entrepreneurs as well to have somebody stand with them, through the process, because it's a lonely journey. It's a crazy ride being an entrepreneur myself. A lot of that, right? I think what I would request you to do is to give a message to all the community people out there, especially those who are aspiring entrepreneurs, struggling entrepreneurs, and just there's so much of hustle, right? One good message for the community.
Well, definitely. From a person who experienced a failed business and who worked with successful businesses as clients, well, what I can say is that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. Don't walk it alone. That's the first thing. Know when to ask for help, know when to ask for support. And the successful person in this game is the person who can endure the pain the most. It's not about how good you are, it's about how long you can sustain. How long can you stay in the game without quitting? And once you reach that breakthrough point, things will start to change in a great way for you and for your family and everyone around you. Just stay in the game, have the resilience, and push through the pain. That's what I can tell them.
How amazing. I'm sure after this very interesting podcast, people want to get in touch with you ASAP. And it's going to be full of DMs for me also. I'm pretty sure on that. But tell us how, if they want to reach to you, how they can reach to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anu, for that. And of course, it would be a pleasure for me to help as much as I can from your community. For anyone who would like to be in touch with me, they can reach out to me on my mobile number, which is 056 197 5060. Send me a LinkedIn message, of course. It's in my name, Mohamed El Khatib. Or send me an email on my support@mkbusinesscoaching.com.
And you will find these details on the link below as well. I can't thank you enough for your precious, prestigious time that you've given today. I mean, more than it is a value for me. It is like, taking all the entire wisdom that I can extract from you and all that. Thank you so much. And I will definitely do my best, and I will definitely call you again if you allow. It's going to be super interesting for the, audiences out there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Anu. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you. So guys, that was Mr. Mohamed El Khatib, such a successful business growth consultant. I'm sure this podcast was very, very informative, interesting. Reach out to him if you are a struggling entrepreneur or if you need some support in your business. Well, stay tuned for more such experts coming your way through UAE Achievers Talk Show Season 3.